Hello, fellow peasants. Today I'll be reviewing 1974's The Godfather, Part 2. Alright guys, so a few weeks ago I watched the first Godfather from 1972, and I just watched The Godfather Part 2. Took me a couple days to get through it. It's a long movie. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I've got a lot of yard work to do around the house. Other things going on. So I watched it in two separate pieces. There's even an intermission, which is nice. About like 2 hours into the film. Nice little intermission in there. So anyway, this film came out in 1974. It's also directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It stars Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Robert Duvall, and a bunch of other people that are probably big names, but I don't know who the fuck they are. What is it about? Well, interestingly enough, the film takes place after it's like several years later, where Michael. He is now, because in the first film, Michael takes over the family business. He's the fucking Don, you know what I mean? And so he's in control of things, and he's slowly sliding down, into being a more shitty, nasty, soulless person as this film goes on. And that's cut back and forth between. So you're watching Michael fall from grace from like the World War II vet, that he was, the good, innocent person he was, that was a honest American who went and fought in the war, came back, and you're watching him even decline even more from that. As you watch the rise of his father, Robert De Niro, who, it starts out with Robert De Niro being a young boy in Italy, and his mother getting killed, his brother getting killed, his father being killed, and he is sent off to America. So he immigrates to America, and he lives in New York. And so you're watching the rise of Vito, Michael's father, and you're watching the downfall of Michael. So you're watching. So this film is a sequel and a prequel all in one, which is very interesting. I've never really seen a movie do this before. So what do I like? What do I not like about The Godfather Part 2? What I like, first and foremost, it sounds really stupid and superficial, but the cinematography. Both these films, Godfather 1 and Godfather Part 2, you can almost just feel the film. There's just such a natural texture to the look of the films, the way it's shot, when the food, the I don't know, there's just, when I'm watching these films, it's like there's just such an organic look and feel to the films. You're like, man, I really think they're eating this Italian ass meal. Like, I really feel like I'm in this dark room with these guys. There's just such a gritty, grounded realness to this that's almost documentary style in its approach. And it's gorgeous. Both these films are beautiful to look at. I can't put into words exactly what I'm trying to convey here, but you really feel like you could reach out and touch the world that you're looking at on the TV. And that's probably like the best way that I can explain that. Next is the acting. The acting, once again, just like in the first movie, top tier shit. Oscar award winning shit, clearly. I think this movie just cleaned house at the Oscars back in the 70s. Robert De Niro, fantastic performance. Al Pacino, once again, fantastic performance. Robert Duvall's performance in here, he's like a little more, he's starting to learn that Michael's like willing to fuck over family, and just like, he's kind of like, Michael, you know, I've always been loyal to you. Why you got it? Like he has a little bit of growth in character, because he's starting to realize that Michael is unhinged. You know, between Michael being in litigation and just losing his soul throughout the process of being this mafia lord, he's not the same type of man that their father was. Vito, yes, Vito was a gangster, but if you recall, at the very opening of the first Godfather, that guy wants those guys killed for attacking his daughter, and he goes, "This is not justice. Your daughter is still alive. You're asking me to commit murder." You know, so like, he seems like fair, level-headed gangster. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a piece of shit criminal nonetheless, but but he seems like fair and balanced about it. As where Michael is just kind of like, I don't give a shit if you're family or not. I'll fucking kill you. Don't care if you're disloyal. You know, just a rugged, ruthless son of a bitch that Vito never really seemed to be. So, where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh yeah, that was just the performances. Like, the performances were great, all around. Once again, the storytelling, I didn't mind that it cut back and forth. I enjoyed the parts with Vito rising up in New York. I mean, like, I like the stuff with Michael. That's interesting too. I like seeing where he's at now that he has taken over the family business and that he's becoming a more soulless, darker character. But at the same time, I could have done a whole movie with Vito coming from Italy as a boy and rising up the ranks in New York City. I could have watched a whole film of that, you know. That was really impressive to me. Like, at first when I knew going in watching this film that there were flashbacks to Vito growing up in New York, and there was that backstory, that there was like prequel material in here. I didn't think I would like it that much. I was honestly surprised. I was like, wow, this is really well done. This is crafted in such a way. I was like, this is in my mind, this is more interesting than Michael's story, because Michael's arc was pretty much complete by the end of the first film. You know what I mean? Was it nice to see what happened after the first film with Michael? Yeah, but I didn't really need to, you know. But it's cool to see the rise of Vito up in New York, and I mean, fuck, replace Vito with anybody. Like, that storyline of a young Italian boy whose family's murdered goes off to New York City. He's poor. He's sick of his low-class life. He kills a mafia don. He takes control. He rises up the ranks in the mafia. He goes back to Italy years later and murders the guy. He gets revenge on the guy who murdered his mother, his father, his brother. I mean, you could do that, a movie like that, and it not even be associated with that character or The Godfather. You know what I mean? That's just good storytelling. That's just good, interesting shit in general. Okay, so I really like that stuff. I wish there was more of it in the film, but it wasn't. What do I not like about the movie? I just think Michael's part of the film didn't add a whole lot. Not a whole lot new going on there. Yeah, he's fighting with his wife. His wife doesn't like him because he's a dickhead now. He's going through litigation. You're watching him become more ruthless in the way that he seeks revenge and does business. But I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But I don't think that alone warranted a sequel. That's probably why they did some of the prequel stuff with Vito, because the stuff with Michael alone would have, like, if The Godfather Part 2 was just the shit with Michael, this movie would not have been as entertaining by far as I think it is. What else? Some of it is a little hard to follow, just like the first film. Sometimes you just wonder, like, okay, what's going on? You know, and maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm not paying enough attention or something like that, but sometimes the storyline and the plot can get a little confusing. I feel like this made more sense though. Like, I feel like this film was easier to follow and more linear in a way than the first Godfather. There was just a lot of side plots and different shit like that in the first film that this one did better at, you know, explaining. What else? I guess that's really it. It's just, I think that, and that's, I mean, I can't say that that's just it. I mean, I think half the film is subpar. Okay. I like the half with Vito, and the half with Michael is just okay. It's all right, but nothing mind blowing. All right, so if I were to rate The Godfather on a 1 to 10, oh man, like, I liked it more than the first one. I think I gave the first film like an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to do like 8.5, 9 out of 10 for this. So let's just settle on a... Let's do an 8.5 out of 10. I can't give it a 9. But just the cinematography, the acting, Vito's backstory, just the fucking rawness of the movie. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. And you got to keep in mind, like, I went into these films kind of knowing what they were, but not sure. Half of me was like, is this going to be a slow burn drama? Or is this going to be like an action-packed gangster film? And it was a drama, okay? Like, both these films are dramas. So I have had to adjust what my preconceptions, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the fucking word. I misjudged the films before I watched them, thinking they were going to be a little more faster paced, a little more action. But these are dramas. These are slow pace, slow burn, a lot of talking in dark rooms, business dealings, not a whole lot of shoot 'em up, bang bang car chase type stuff like that. And that's fine. That's okay. I'm not saying they need to be that. I have an attention span. So I can sit through 3-hour-long movies. I can watch a lot of dialogue, as long as the dialogue is good. But that's it, guys. 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I really think that it is worth a rewatch. It's not something I pop in all the time. I might watch these again in like a year or two from now. But I really liked them. I'm probably still going to end up getting the 4K disc set, even though my friend Chris gave me the digital copies for these. Thank you once again, Chris, for giving me the digital codes for these on 4K. I really appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it, man. And but anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about The Godfather Part 2. Have a good one, peasants. Peace out. Bye-bye.